Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, COP27, the climate change conference that took place in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, have concluded. The last day was yesterday, and Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri have read the recommendations. So to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Ms. Amira Sayed, the writer and journalist, also UN coordinator for COP27. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, yes. Ms. Sayed, now you are the UN coordinator for the COP27, and you attended the whole days of the conference. Yesterday, Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri have announced the end or adjourning the sessions of the COP27 and announcing the recommendations of the conference. And one of the main recommendations he said was a historic step. He described it as a historic step, which is making a fund for providing help for countries who are suffering from the climate change, and that Egypt is going to follow up through the whole year until handing the presidency of or the host of the conference to Dubai. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we have to know that COP27 was held in a very critical time. Now the whole world is grappling with the ramifications of the Ukrainian-Russian file. Also, there has been many geopolitical changes that took place. So it was really held in a very critical time, while all countries, they have their concerns and they want swift action. So from day one, and even from the preparations of the COP27, Egypt's vision of this conference is to move from pledges to implementation. We need real actions. And that's why from day one also we can find that every day there has been a new initiative that was launched in order to enhance the climate action in different countries. And we have to take into consideration that Egypt adopts a holistic approach. When we are talking about climate finance, we are talking about financing, adaptation, mitigation, and loss and damage. And actually, Egypt has taken unprecedented move in putting the file of loss and damage for the first time in the history of COP at the center of the COP agenda. And actually, after long hours of negotiations, there has been a historic decision to establish a new fund for loss and damage, and actually to make sure that all these pledges will move into implementation. There has been an announcement that there will be a transitional committee that will set the mechanism to finance this fund. So actually, Egypt's presidency of COP27, it has many positive reactions worldwide that we walk the talk. We managed to walk the talk. Yeah.
Yes, so Mrs. Sayed, also the recommendations was described by Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri as historical. So could you give us your insight concerning this?
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, the most important step that was taken in COP27 is to set up a fund for loss and damage in order to help developing countries that are hardest hit by the impact of climate change and the countries that are most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. We have seen the dramatic answers and the human crisis that took place in Pakistan, where many people lost their lives and a third of the country was submerged. So actually, we have to take into consideration when we are talking about developing countries, especially in Africa. Actually, Africa, its contribution to the global emissions, it doesn't exceed 3 or 4% of the total emissions. Though it is the least contributor to emissions, it is the most vulnerable and hardest hit by the impact of climate change. So there has been a focus on the needs and demands of the African continent, and we call it Africa's COP. And actually, in addition to this continental approach, Egypt also has introduced the regional dimension in its agenda. Egypt was not just talking about Africa or Egypt itself. It has been talking about and give voice to many countries that are suffering a lot. In the field of adaptation, we have seen also a major initiative with Sharm el-Sheikh Adaptation Initiative to promote climate action in adaptation and to promote the required finance for this important fund. So this is also another step forward. Regarding mitigation, though there has been many obstacles and hardships related to the negotiations to phase out coal and to curb the emissions, but at least Egypt managed to renew commitments to Paris Agreement to keep temperature to 1.5 degrees amid many pledges to improve the NDCs and also to curb the emissions. So this is also another step forward. Even the socio-economic impact of climate change was also put into consideration. One of the major initiatives that were launched in COP27 was the launch of decent life in Africa. So this is very important, and actually also another important initiative was Africa Carbon Credit Market Initiative, which was attended by many presidents and head of states in COP27. So actually we have seen many initiatives. As I told you, this goes in tandem with the holistic approach of COP27 presidency. Yep.
Yes, Ms. Sayed, also a declaration was attended by or signed by the Environment Minister Dr. Yasmin Fuad, as she declared on Saturday, the results of the conference sustainability plan and the COP27 sustainability plan that was drafted in a co-shared process by the Secretary of the conference and includes a group of measures in order to ensure the conference meets zero carbon emissions. So could you please elaborate on this point?
Yeah, regarding the role of Environment Ministry, actually Minister Yasmin Fuad, it was a role model, if we can say, in how to coordinate efforts. We have seen since the announcement that Egypt is going to host COP27, there has been close coordination between all the ministers concerned. We have seen many trips from time to time to follow up the preparations in Sharm el-Sheikh and the efforts to turn Sharm el-Sheikh into a green city. And this is also another step forward. Regarding curbing emissions, as I told you, many initiatives were launched within the framework of COP27. One of the major initiatives is called Lotus, which is for limiting the carbon emissions from transport sector. And we have seen a major agreement that was signed between the Egyptian Transport Ministry and international partners. Also, the green zone, we have the whole session took place in the blue zone, but also the green zone gave opportunity for most people to participate in COP27. You can see in green zone many creative ideas that are environmentally friendly by young people. You can see also pavilions for Egyptian universities. You can see pavilions for entrepreneurs. So actually, I think Egypt has taken unprecedented move in empowering young people to engage them in climate action. For the first time ever, there has been a youth envoy for COP27, which is Dr. Umayya al-Umrani, and actually this is also in one of the first of the COP. This COP witnessed many unprecedented movements. For the first time ever, there has been a pavilion for youth and children, and definitely this could have been done without the coordination between the Environment Ministry, the Foreign Ministry, and all ministers concerned. Yep.
Yes, Dr. Sayed, concerning the youth, as you've just mentioned, the Egyptian youth who participated in the COP27 in organizing, and they were volunteering. We see that the conference or the UN have given certificates and awards for the youth, and actually UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres had a group photo with the volunteering youth who helped in organizing the conference and made it a success.
Yeah, definitely. We have first, before diving into details about the contribution of volunteers, the selection process was very amazing. The Ministry of Social Solidarity wanted the open call for volunteers to take part in COP27. They have received thousands of applications, and then they selected around 1,000 people to volunteer in COP27. Actually, there has been many selection criteria. For example, having an extra different languages will be an added asset. Also, how to deal with people from different countries, even people with special needs. So the selection process itself, it was very accurate to make sure that they put the right people in the right place. For me, my personal experience, since I entered the COP27 convention center, you can find that the volunteers, they are well trained. They can take you, okay, if you are searching for a certain pavilion or a certain hall, they know everything. And I was impressed by their ability to communicate with different language and the professional level of the volunteers. So for 2 weeks, and even they were in Sharm el-Sheikh even before the inauguration of COP27, they were exerting great efforts, so they deserve that. And this actually, when the Secretary General of the United Nations attended the closing ceremony and he honored those volunteers because they deserved it. All people were witnessing their efforts. Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Amira Sayed, the UN coordinator for COP27, writer and journalist. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. And with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of The Breakfast Show. I was in the company of my colleague Nermeen Abdurrahman. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.